Hey, 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 welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLain, and it's so good to be back. It has been a long time. I've had a lot of health issues kind of hold me back, but you can't keep a good man down, especially when you know that you got stuff to do. You've got people to talk to, you got people to help and do stuff like that. And so, but I want to tell you guys, I appreciate all the thoughts and all the prayers that you guys sent my way because every bit of it helped. And I thank all of you for that. And, my order, I mean, everything, man. You guys have been a serious blessing to me. Well, tonight, guys, tonight we have a guest that we've had on before. Um, we had a really good conversation before, and I'm hoping to continue that tonight. So let's bring this fine gentleman on, Jeremy Cotter.
Hey Shane, how's it going, man?
What's up, buddy? What's going on?
Enjoying finally the back half of a really miserable start to Memorial Day. It's actually sunny outside now as it's glaring through the window and kind of catching me in the side of my eye. I'm like, oh my God. First thing before we even get started, I want to say welcome back to the network, pal. It's been,
Thank you.
You've been sorely missed for several weeks, and I'm
Thank
glad to see you're back up and running. And, it's good to have you back in the family fold, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's been a real trying time for me, and where you have thoughts to where like, am I ever going to get back to normal? Am I going to be able to do the things that I'm used to doing? I mean, it affects so much, and your mental health takes a lick. I mean, just everything just kind of builds up on you. But I'm glad to be back.
I agree with you. Struggling not only with the physical part of it, but the mental part, which is almost as harrowing as the physical.
Yeah.
I mean, your body heals up quicker than the mind does sometimes, and it's good to see that it all came back together, and you're here, and you're bringing your amazing show back
Oh, yeah.
back live, and what a better day to do it than on Memorial Day 2026.
That's it. That's it. God's not done with me yet, and I knew that. I knew that because, that's what we concentrate on, I've just, even though this was a really trying experience right there, it just reminds me that he will never put more on you than what you can handle or bear. And so when I started trusting the fact that I'm not in control anymore, that, and just kind of let go and let God, I mean, it is sort of coming right back around. So
I agree with you, and putting your faith first is always important.
Yeah.
I have my beliefs more than I do. I don't follow any one particular structure of faith just because I pick and choose things from everything, and I have my own set core values, and I try to stick to those on a regular basis. And I figure that if you do that, you can't go wrong. And I do believe in the big guy upstairs, but I don't put it forward first and foremost because I try to live life every day, fresh new experience every single day. So.
Well, that's it. That's it. I mean, if you live the best that you can, and you know that you're doing things to either help people, be there for people, just be a good person in general. That shows the characteristics of the big man upstairs anyway.
I agree. I mean, obviously, we're all reflections of the higher power, and it shows every day. Some people rise above it. Some people choose not to, depending on their path. But I try not to focus on other people's paths now, Shane. I decided to focus on my own. And
Yeah.
whatever I can do. Are some days challenging? Of course they are. I mean, they are for everybody. Just trying to get up out of bed, I sound like a box of Rice Krispies getting out of the friggin' bed first thing in the morning sometimes. Trying to stand up straight, and then I think every joint in my body screams out in pain at the same stupid time. I get up, I get dressed, I head into the office, I go to the hospital, I work. during the course of the day, and then come home and relax and plan on plan out my schedule around my show and everything, because that's what my true passion is the network and the podcast and all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah. Speaking of that, why don't you let everybody know how your show's been going and maybe like some of the topics and guests and stuff that you've had on there.
Well, as you can see behind me, Twisted Tales. I didn't have any of this the last time we had talked because it was just a concept when you and I had that conversation earlier in January.
It was.
Debuted in January, the 21st of January. I actually had a good friend and fellow Wicked Wednesdays host, Nathaniel Elwo, is my first guest on the show.
Yep.
I've had some amazing. Hey, kitty cats, what's going on?
Yeah. They try to get up in my face and they want to take over.
Well, I don't blame you. I've had some amazing guests on the show. Ron Iacovetti with the digital seance experience last week. Chris Brown with the psychic medium. We had a great talk about heavy metal music and everything like that. And I had Raven on. We did a Funko Pop thing. And I've had a bunch of other guys on. This week I have Mr. Russ Diver, a good friend of mine who's a paranormal investigator, a podcast host of a show of his own. And I'm working on getting guests. I'm almost booked up through August and going into the first week of September, and I love it. I didn't think I was gonna like it at first, man. I thought I was gonna be scared. I was pacing back and forth in my house. You can probably ask my wife. I think I wore a whole freaking carpet going back and forth, going, okay, I gotta sit down. I gotta hit this first show. I gotta knock it out. But every week now, it gets better and better.
Yep.
And the conversation flows, and I write up all my questions and I have them where I can see them in eyesight, so I don't have to break camera. And it's like, I'm learning. I feel that every episode show you do, you should look at it and find things you can make better and get better every single time, whether it's the flow of how you speak or whether it's the questions that you ask. Get comfortable to the point where you don't even need to put a list of questions. You can do bullet points or whatever you want to do. Or if you feel like you want to do it however you want to do is great. For me, I needed to be different. I needed to stand out. That's why I went out. I got the banner. I got the stuff hanging up like the Scream mask and my parents, and I got the Jason mask up on the top over there, and the flashy, crazy shirts. You'll never see me wear the same shirt or combination in any episode. I make every episode unique, different to what it's got going on, because it's a reflection of me, man. In Twisted Tales, it's not just paranormal. It's paranormal, horror, pop culture, comics, whatever the hell, because it can go in any direction it wants to. It's twisted. It can go in any direction it wants, and that's why it's open to interpretation and I open any guest that wants to come on. I'm always open to anybody who wants to do it.
So you just kind of leave it open, like for it to become organic and things of that nature. So I mean, you guys can literally talk about anything on your show, right?
Exactly. I mean, of course, the majority of my guests so far have been paranormal, and I have some horror. I do have the gentleman who played Winnie the Pooh in Blood and Honey coming on in a couple of weeks, the actor who played him. And then the week after that, I have the amazing James Stokes, and I'm going to have him on.
Man, you'll love him.
Trust me.
You'll love him.
I got the Jason mask up in the corner here. I'm going to bring it down closer, and I have a whole slew of stuff I'm working on for him. I've been trying to do some research. See, I spend my time, Shane, like the day after my show Wednesday, I'm already putting out my promotional material for the next week. I'm always promoting Twisted Tales, and I'm promoting Wicked Wednesdays, which is the collaboration of all the shows on that day, where Christina Bloom is in the morning, and then Nate's at 8 o'clock, and I'm at 9:30. I'm working on building the brands because it's important, and also plugging All Access all the time, whether it's on the air or whether it's to people who ask me where my show is. I have stickers that I hand out for my show, and on the back it even has the Facebook for All Access. It has all the information, because I believe in not only building a brand, but I also believe in the network getting better and better every single day.
Right. And that's what we need, Jimmy. We need people with that kind of mentality, because there's a lot of people that like to come on podcasts and either like they're kind of like monotone, or they come on and they don't give everything that they have towards it, and that leaves a reflection, not only on yourself, but for the network that is representing you too.
I agree entirely. As you can see, there's no monotone in me. There's no flat level with me. I am always up, up, up. Whether I over caffeinated myself or not, I don't give a shit. To be honest with you, that's my personal drug of choice. It's caffeine. It's the only thing that I got going on. And having the 9:30 time slot, we can go in any direction we want. That's why I called the show Twisted Tales. I plan on doing some wrestling based content. I plan on, because of my experience back in the day on that, and going forward with the paranormal and the horror, and just working on going to conventions and networking and trying to get more guests and working things through and coming up with formatting like certain themed months. And I have all these ideas. Dude, if I could pull everything out of my head and shove it into a notebook without having to sit there and try to write it out, because I know I'll lose it in the process, I could fill 3 notebooks right now just sitting here talking to you with all the ideas that I got going on up in this head, brother. It's so amazing. Yeah, because I'm passionate, dude. I'm like full throttle, 100%. Gwen will tell you, our amazing producer Gwen Johns on the network, that I am the next day. I'm like, okay, here's the information for my next guest. Let's get the, she gets the ad going, she gets the poster going, she gets everything going for me, because she knows like and I also do my own personal promo for the guest before I even get the ad. So I do my own promo, I get the ad from Gwen, and then the poster, and I rotate them every single day over and over again to get it blanketed out, not only to the friends in my page, but also put out to the public. So it ends up on Instagram and it shows up on multiple different platforms, because something we have, and I apologize for babbling, but we have this amazing thing called free advertising space, man. Yeah. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have freaking TikTok, we have all of these, and most of them are already linked together so that shit shows up. Once you put it on one thing, it comes up, it pops up on multiple platforms. Why everybody doesn't utilize this freaking just network of sources to just push your brand and push your product? I don't understand why nobody uses it and nobody utilizes it. It just blows my mind. Right. I love the fact of being a part, of this network. I'm one of the originals. Mm-hmm. And it really upset me when I wasn't able to go live there before, but I just wasn't going to do that while I was in the hospital. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. When you're not feeling like yourself, when you can't give 100% of yourself verbally, emotionally, whenever if you can't give yourself, then you need to run a few of the old episodes to at least, keep the memory of the show going while you heal up and you figure out the next way to go and the next wave of how you want to bring your show. Yeah, I mean, man, like she showed. I mean, I've had some awesome guests like Shannon Collins. I had Bianca, James Stokes. I mean, I've had some amazing people on, and I really enjoy these, and we still talk. All of us talk to this day, and it's just building community. And that's what I like about this, is because, you may not know the person that you're having on, but after the show's done, you have a good idea of who that person is. And no, go ahead. I agree. I agree with you. Yeah. That's it. So with this Twisted Tales and everything, like when you first started, did you have like a set concept, like maybe paranormal, or like what was your thinking like before you came on as a podcast host? Like where was your mind at with that? So when I came up with I'll give you the deal. So when Gwen first approached me about taking on my own show versus wanting to be like a co-host or something like that, which is what I was originally wanting to do. And then from there, she said, "Why don't you send me a bunch of names and we'll figure it out?" So I sat there and I wrote out a bunch of different names for a podcast. And I'll be honest with you, as soon as I submitted her the list, I'm like, this list sucks. I don't like any of these names on here whatsoever. I was in there going, I'm like, my God, I might as well have just sent her a bunch of alphabet soup in a bucket, right? And then she sent back the ones that she thought were kind of cool, And then the one that popped up to her was Twisted Topics. I'm like, you know what? How about we change it to Twisted Tales? And she came up with a graphic behind me. And then I'm like, you know what? This works. Because of my background in professional wrestling, because of my background in paranormal, because of my love of horror movies, I have a Funko Pops. I love Funko Pops. I know about like comics and a bunch of other interesting. I'm always trying to learn more new stuff. And I'm sitting there going, why don't I put all of it together, almost like a variety show, so to speak. I mean, granted, the lion's share of my guests have been paranormal, and the majority of the people that I've known for a while, because I knew that good conversation is as important as the topic of conversation.
Yeah, I went through like 6 weeks there, 6-7 weeks, to where I was bringing different psychics and mediums on.
Yep, I'm working on that aspect because I do know a bunch of them and I haven't gotten them in. It's just like I sent out a blanket to begin with, seeing who was interested, and then I started plugging people in. Next thing I knew, I had the first 4 months of my show already booked in advance. And then it was the outpouring and the support from everybody has been an amazing thing, to be honest.
That's so good. I'm so happy for you, man. We're glad to have you here. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I think everybody loves you. I think your guests are great. They all love you too. So, I mean, you're definitely in the right place, man.
I agree with you, man. And like I said, I was scared like a shithouse rat when they were like, "Yeah, we want you to host," because being a guest on somebody's show versus being a host on somebody's show, totally different thing. When you're a guest, you get the questions asked to you, so you can pretty much answer them however you want to. When you're the host, you need to come up with the questions to entertain not only the guest that you're talking to, but the people watching the show as well, whether they're watching it live or whether they go on and watch it later on or whatever, they catch snippets or here, there, and everywhere. You need to try to make it as engaging as possible. And that was what I had to learn. But, I've picked up steam and I've had a lot of assistance, not only from Gwen, but from Nate Ewell as well. He's been an amazing brother in arms, so to speak.
I'm the one that got Nathan in the podcast.
Yeah, his show is an amazing show too. I love the fact that we're like the 2-punch. And it's like you almost want to see both shows. I've had several people who have their own shows who put theirs on hold so they can see ours back to back, because it's an amazing 2 hours of entertainment. It gives you a break from the nomenclature of television or your normal basic stuff that everybody does. And that's what's so great about this network, is that there's so much diversity. And,
oh yeah. I mean, I love that too.
And two of my favorite people in the whole world who I had on a few weeks ago, Danny and Lauren, the Radicals, they have their own once a month show, Creepy Chronicles, and I'm so happy to see them on. I watched their first 2 episodes, which were amazing as well. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how's, I mean, have you gotten out for like paranormal investigating, or
for a little while? I'll be honest with you, for a little while I had put it on hold because just life gets in the way, and you're trying to work and you're trying to do things, and I did do an investigation at the Emery House in I think it was like in the Quincy area. I'm having a hard time with the town, but it's this beautiful big house in Massachusetts. I was invited to go out to it, so I went out and did the investigation. It was amazing. I had some interesting interactions with spirits there. I do plan on wanting to get out again and do some more investigating, but I know that right now I'm focused on the show, and my wife is going back to school, so she's focusing on school. So we don't have the time to be running out here, there, and everywhere. And I have a couple of conventions that I'm going to be doing. One in Nashua, New Hampshire, at the beginning of August. I'm going to, and then the Maine Paranormal Horror Convention, which I'm going to be speaking at with, and that's going to be in September in Augusta, Maine, which I'm definitely looking forward to. You know, I think everything once something pops up that I need to go do, or that I have the opportunity to do, you know, opportunity shows itself. So I'm just waiting to see what pops up, you know.
That's awesome. Yep. That's awesome. But like I said, I think you're doing a fantastic job. I do want to have a conversation, you know, with you about the paranormal, and it's something that I've been thinking about for like the past 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, well, you know, you got haunted houses, you know, hospitals, you got a little bit of everything, but the one that you do not hear a lot of is, how about haunted roads?
The roads. Yes. I mean, there are obviously roads in different areas of the country that are definitely teeming with energy. I mean, you've seen it on multiple paranormal TV shows where they've walked up and down the road. The biggest problem with the road situation in trying to use like actual equipment, you have major power lines running up and down those roads on both sides.
Oh, I know. I'm not talking about, you can't yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, between EMF and stuff like that, you know, it's kind of difficult to find the right spot on a road. But when I'm talking is, you know, I looked at the national stat, and like there have been 14,500 sightings of entities on the road every year.
I had one about 3 months ago on a back road on my way to work. I'll actually share this story for you. It was very interesting. Now, I usually go to work. I'm on the road about 4 o'clock in the morning to be at my job before 5 and all of that. So I was driving a back road, driving down, and you know those crosswalks that they have where they press the button and the lights flare so cars stop and stuff like that. So here it is, 4 a.m. I'm driving down the street. All of a sudden, the lights start flickering, and I don't see anybody at all, like walking across. All of a sudden, I saw a black mass walk across the street. And it was actually a bike path. It was actually like one of those bike paths on the back road where you actually saw the spirit walk across and continue down the path. And then the flashing light stopped. So it's amazing that somehow it had enough strength or enough energy to activate the flashing light in order to tell people, hey, I'm coming, and walked across the road. But, you know, depends on where you are too. Like abandoned roads, you walk, but you know, you're driving by. I swear I've had time slips where I could have sworn I saw somebody on a bicycle drive across the road in front of me, and then you look over and there's nobody there, and it's like, what the hell just happened? But I mean, these things don't happen all the time. So it's but as far as the spirit, spirits travel all the time, you know. And
I just watched this girl is not even like into the paranormal, you know, but you know, she was driving, and she looked out, you know, and it was raining. I mean, and it was next to like a cornfield or whatever, and she looks over and she sees a man standing there right on the side of the road in a 3-piece suit. She said that he looked gray. So she pulls out her camera and she starts filming. and she comes up to the guy. She comes up like in her car next to him, and she was like, she was trying to get a good thing with her camera,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy turned and he pointed at her with his mouth open
Wow.
like that, and she goes, it just gave her a really uneasy feeling. So she she left the area, and she got about a half a mile down the road, and she looked over again, and the same guy was on the side of the road. So I mean, it's like, you know, are they there for warnings? You know, because I also found out that, you know, like even like demonic issues and stuff like that that happen. There's certain demons that that represent, you know, like they go to different areas like that, and one way that they can get attached to, you know, someone else is by a road. And what I mean by that is, a guy named Nick was a delivery driver, and there was a certain road that was through his town or whatever, where there have been multiple deaths, and people have gone, and like they've done like seances, they've done like Ouija board sessions, you know, things of that nature. And he he was driving his delivery truck down, and he looks over, he looks over, and somebody was in his truck staring at him. And so he hits the brake real quick, and he tries to open his door to get out or whatever, and the person was gone.
Wow.
And he went home. He went home that night, and he has spent the last, I think, 4 years dealing with an entity in his home that he actually got from delivery driving.
Oh wow.
So I mean, I definitely think, you know, I don't necessarily believe that that the roads are completely haunted, but what I do believe is, I believe that the energy from, people dying, you know, like if there's a bunch of people died and you mark the roads, you know, with symbolisms, and then you go do, you know, Ouija boards out there, you know, like that, like you're trying to summon something out there. I think it can get a lot worse. And but I just wanted to get your opinion on that, because, like, you know, it's a very interesting topic, because if you look at some of the things that people have seen on the side of the road, it's like you'll see, it'll be pouring down rain, and then all of a sudden you'll see a truck come up, and all of a sudden, you know, you'll see the back end of a black, you know, looks like a person,
Right.
you know, in the road, that makes you swerve out and almost wreck.
You know, I agree with you. I mean, a couple of things that pop into my mind just talking about what we're talking about here is, think about the amount of like car crashes and on certain areas where people pass away, and I mean they could be tethered to that one spot. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully they can find their way to the next chapter. But also, all the people who've been killed and had their bodies dumped along the side of certain roads as well, for multiples of reasons. You know, obviously, Thomas is watching the show, and his show, you know, profile focuses on a lot of individuals who have done various acts, I'm sure, of that magnitude. But then think about this. Think about how many roads that have been paved, Shane, that they actually moved cemeteries out of the way and pulled the graves out of the area so they could run roads in a certain area. Because it
And
has been
that's
done.
got to bring a lot of energy in there.
It has, I mean, to think that it hasn't been done would be foolish, because I mean, a lot of these areas, if you think about it, and especially up here in the New England area, I mean, I'm not sure exactly like in your location, but a
South
lot of
Carolina.
well, I'm sure a lot of roads have probably been put through, maybe even over the top of unmarked graves, whether they're single or mass graves, because of all the war conflicts and all of the, I mean, people have been dying for tens of thousands of years. We're definitely not the first incarnation of human beings. I don't believe that at all. But, and then all of the areas where there could be some family cemeteries, and they decided to just put part of the highway through. So they pull, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to dig up all of the people who were there, most likely, and pull them out of there, whether by accident or on purpose. And that can definitely cause a lot of unrest for spirits as well, in my opinion. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of activity, especially in certain roads and certain towns and cities across the country. I'm sure.
You think you think the majority of sightings are maybe a warning, or do you think that maybe they have, bad intentions behind it?
I don't think there's bad intentions. I think for the majority of spirits, there's not bad intentions. Just like I don't feel that every negative spirit is a demon, because I'm honestly not a big fan of the D word to begin with. I feel that it's overplayed in the paranormal. I feel that there are people who I've worked with before who have told me that if you're a kind of a salty individual on this side of the ground, then you're not actually going to see the light and become a good, nice guy on the other side. You're going to take the saltiness with you. And it's been proven at multiple locations and multiple places that we've investigated at over the years where, this guy is angry. Well, he was angry while he was alive. And then,
In life, yeah. If you're angry in life, you're angry in death. If you're, so that doesn't go away from you.
No, I agree with that. But I don't think if you're let's be honest, if you're an asshole, you're not, when you die, you're just not going to be like, I've seen the light, I'm going to be a good ghost from now on. There's no guarantee. I mean, some people, and a lot of them that have passed, don't even know that they're gone, Shane, because it was like quick. It was in a moment's notice, it was taken away just like that. I've encountered spirits. That's why I don't consider myself an investigator. I call myself a paranormal communicator, and I talk to the spirits like they're here talking to you. Why? Because it makes them feel comfortable, and it makes them be willing to communicate with you more. Because the questions that I cannot stand, and it's always, do you know you're dead? How did you die? What if the spirit's like, what do you mean I'm dead? I'm hanging out here at the house where I've been living my whole life. You don't know, and to me that seems to be part of the lost part of the paranormal is empathy towards the actual spirits. Sometimes it feels like it gets lost in the translation, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It's like some of the approaches that people have during paranormal investigating, where they wonder why they don't get a lot of activity, and things like that, is because I think a lot of the time your approach towards, that location and the entities that are there, it's a little better to like do your homework on it first to find out who's there, what year, that they were alive and things like that, and put some things in there that they can relate to.
Absolutely. And that's the most important thing. When I first started doing the paranormal, we would ask, the standard questions that, do you know you're dead, or when did you pass on, or how did you die? But until you learn better.
You evolve. You evolve from that.
Until you learn, you evolve and everything. Whether you're evolving as a paranormal investigator, or you're evolving as a podcast host, you're evolving doing anything else. You need to change, and the more you gain empathy, and the more you move towards the spiritual side of everything, you gain a broader perspective on how these people felt, not only in life but also on the other side as well. And even though no matter what everybody says, we've barely even tipped the iceberg in the paranormal as far as our understanding. Everything that we think we know, something else changes the entire perspective of everything. I've had my own perspectives changed and blown out of the water just from general conversations with people, not even on camera, but just in general. And how people. I always ask people how their opinions are, and I always ask people, their insight, because you can learn a little something and take a little something away from
everybody. Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then you've lost the point of the conversation in the first place.
Right. And I mean, what are your thoughts on like when someone says I'm a professional paranormal investigator?
They'd be like me telling you that I'm a professional handyman because I watched a couple of videos on YouTube and how to hammer a bathroom sink back together.
Exactly.
That professional depends on what you mean. I mean, what are you professional at? Are you a professional?
Well, that's what I mean. That I would rather someone say that my conduct, my behavior,
professional behavior, experience. I don't mind the word experience, because if you've been doing it for a while and you can help somebody else out by showing them like certain ways to do things, yes, you're sharing your expertise. You can have experience and stuff like that, but as far as calling yourself the professional or an expert's worse than professional. Expert is definitely worse than professional when it comes to terminology like that, because you're an expert in communicating with beings that we can't see or hear. Well, for the majority, I've been blessed by being a clairvoyant, being able to physically speak and talk to spirits without equipment. But for the vast majority, you need to be able to use equipment. And I don't know, I just think expert is such a loaded term.
It is. It really is. I think it's played, because, when you watch YouTube and you watch things like that all over TV, you say, there's experts or professional and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's no scientific method or scientific proof, in paranormal investigating. So I don't think you have the right to call yourself a professional. Not with the evolution of things. Equipment changes, the way that people investigate changes, the way that you're even doing, there's so much that fluctuates there that I really just don't think that you should use that term. And even like paranormal investigator, I like the term paranormalist.
Yeah, I mean that works as well. I mean, you can pretty much put whatever label you want to on it. I chose communicator because that's what I communicate when I talk to the spirits, like I'm talking to you. I engage in conversation. I don't try to ask rigid questions. And I mean, that happens when you have like a group of people who everybody asks a question, and you go around and you put the recorder out and you try to catch an EVP from one or multiple different answers from questions in a timed format. Now, go back to the professional thing real quick. I believe you can be a professional to a degree. Your ethics, your conduct,
your behavior,
and the way you carry yourself. And when you work with people on not just residential, but commercial as well, places like, say, like a Lizzie Borden's or a St. Augustine's Lighthouse or Eastern State Penitentiary. I'm sure that you guys have a lot of them in the Carolinas that are pretty cool too. But I'm just rattling off some miscellaneous ones. Salem, but it's to me, how you handle yourself.
Yeah,
you can be a professional on how you handle yourself. As far as an expert is concerned, You can become an expert on how to utilize pieces of equipment, but you're never going to be an expert on the communication that you get back.
Right.
So
That's exactly it. It's more like professional expert stuff like that has more on your character, how you handle things. It's not the act of paranormal investigating, because I don't believe that there's professionals in paranormal investigating. But I do believe that you could have a professional attitude,
Yep.
which will bring that out, and people will be able to see that. But as far as just calling yourself, I'm a professional, I just, I try to overlook people like that. Even like if I'm watching TV or something and somebody comes on and I see like, like an expert paranormal, like, you could be an expert, maybe even on the area that you're at. Maybe you study that area a lot, but as far as the term paranormal investigator, expert, professionals, things like that, that shouldn't even come into play, man, because things change too much.
And I agree with you, and especially when you realize, and this is going to be a mind blower, but ghosts, aliens, the Bigfoot, the cryptids, they're all intertwined with each other. They really, truly are. They are not. They might be branches of the same tree, but they are the same tree. And then you realize that if you start looking into all of that, it starts making sense. Instead of making sense to me, then it changes your entire perspective on how you go about everything. Because it's all paranormal. Bigfoot, cryptids, aliens, ghosts. They're all branches off of the same tree. It's the truth. I mean, they all these type shows run on similar networks, certain platforms, and people who talk about one do like to dive into some of the other ones occasionally. I start off primarily with spirits, and then I have interest in the ETs or in the cryptids / Bigfoot. The field is too vast to be labeled professional. Jeff, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I really do.
I have a hard time seeing the comments, so I really
yeah, I'm catching them as we go through the best I can.
Did you see what that last one said?
Oh, Jeff? Yeah. Jeff, the field is too vast to be labeled a professional. I totally agree. The paranormal field is a gigantic open field that just keeps getting broader and more intriguing all the time. Well, thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. Especially when you start thinking about spirits that run in multiple timelines in the same location. People who have died in the 1800s and the early 1900s and some of them modern that all hang out in the same house, but they can't see each other because they run parallel timelines in the same spot. Things like that. Things like that really, if you start focusing on all of those type of things, it's amazing how little we really do know about the paranormal.
That I know, and it's amazing to me, because it's like, I'm a Christian and everything. I'm a Knights Templar, I represent the sovereign and ecclesiastical.
Hello?
I think we lost Shane there, bud.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he'll have to log back in here and see. Hopefully he'll come back in a second.
Oh, boy. That's okay. I think I was understanding where he was going with that,
Yeah.
Sometimes the show must go on one way or the other, man. We got to wait for poor Shane to come back.
Here he goes. Here he comes. There he is.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man. All of a sudden, a screen came up. And it just had a bunch of commercial stuff on there, and I'm like, man, what is this?
We're sorry, we interrupt you for this commercial.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we got an hour here, and I don't like the breaks, or I don't like pausing or anything like that, because I like fluid conversations.
That's okay, man. I
And
kept talking while you were off the air, killing time until you came back in.
that's good. That's good. That's good though. So, I mean, tell me, what do you have going on here, as of late? And what are some things that you have going on, in the near future?
Right now, I'm 100% hyper focused on Twisted Tales, Wednesdays, working with the network. I tell everybody all the time, if you need a guest, you need a co-host, hit me up. I'm always available anytime, as long as it's not 9:30 on Wednesday nights. Aside from that, I mean, I've done 2 or 3 shows in a single day. If people need me, all they need to do is hit me up through whatever platform is possible. You know what, Shane? I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I was going to take to it as hard as I did, but I really love this. I love podcasting. I love being able to talk to people, like yourself, and Sean and Gwen and Litriana and the people on the network and all my other guests that I've had on. I've had some wonderful people on the show. And I also have a lot more wonderful people coming up, and those that have yet to be even sign up yet. Because
You can book me for one of your shows too,
brother. We're gonna talk when we get off there, and I'm gonna have you fill in one of the spots I got open up coming up in summertime. Because it'd be great to flip the script and definitely get a chance to have you be the one on the hot seat for instead of me. But it's cool because you know what? Whether I'm hosting or whether I'm a guest, I just love being part of this whole genre. This podcasting genre is just, it's become a passion now.
It really is. It really is, especially when you find something that you really love doing, and you like meeting new people. You like, and not, and I don't even consider these like interviews.
Yeah,
because to me, it feels like you and I are on a couch just kind of talking.
absolutely. Do you know what? Mine's not. It says podcast in the title. I consider it a show, and
Yeah.
my shows are episodes of my show. Podcast is the genre, but I consider it a show, and it means the world to me because when I come on the air and I'm in mode, that's the best part. Shane and I call them rounds when we're on each other's show. Round 1, round 2.
Oh yeah, Sean and I, yeah, we've we've had so many rounds. We've had so many, but I mean they're fun though. I mean, it's like, when you have a good guest and you have a good conversation and it's fluent, it's organic, things of that nature, I mean, that hour is going to go by pretty swiftly.
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. It's and thankfully, with me being on as late as I am, if I go a little bit over, I don't get dinged for it because there's nobody on after me. So by 10:30 at night, if we run a few minutes over, not a big deal. Because there's no one else that we have to worry about getting in back to back on top of it. And that's
right.
That's the most important thing. And sometimes the conversation fits in within the hour. Sometimes you need the extra 10 minutes because you want to make sure that you get all of the information for that one person. I'm all about building people up, Shane. I'm all about building people up. I'm all about positive energy. As you can tell, I don't drag myself to the mud. I'm up. I'm on the go, and I'm, from 3:30 in the morning when I wake up till like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night when I lay down for bed. I'm always coming up with new ideas. I'm always trying to come up with new things to do. I'm trying to, I'm out there talking to people. I've joined a couple of different podcasting networks as far as like chat groups and putting it out there. If there's somebody needs me, I can talk about, honestly, dude, I can talk about almost anything because I know a lot about a few, but I know a little about a lot. That's the way I look at it. And everything else is just enjoying the conversation with the person at hand. And
And that's really the way to go. When I first got in and I was thinking, about doing podcasts and things like that, I took some things that are that are interesting, that not just interesting, but that really meant a lot to me. And like, I was a full-time pastor in a church for 3 years. And we would have families come in with real issues and issues going. And the only thing that I would ever hear was, "Oh, we'll put you and your family on a prayer list."
Yeah.
Well, but then their situations don't get any better,
That's
you know.
true.
So I left and I got into spiritual warfare ministry.
Mhm.
So I look for those, and like my podcast was to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy, because we do have, like, we have, with our Knights Templars and everything like that, we've got, we're teaching classes, we've got a lot going on, with that. But, you know, we really, really want to concentrate on not only helping people, but, work cases, things of that nature. I mean, I've got so many references and things where people have wrote, what I've done, and things like that. And it really doesn't matter to me. But what
Yeah.
matters to me is that when when a family is told that they cannot get help, or they have a paranormal team going there that can identify, what's going on, but makes their situation worse. Some of the things that people use, on the inside of their investigation have made their situations worse. And then when we go in there, we do a proper clearing and cleansing, blessing, things of that nature. And I have not had one return yet. So I know that it works. I know. And I tell everybody on here, what works for me may not work for you.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact of being able to use a very broad theological method, when it comes to clearing and cleansing, because not only does it involve my faith, but it involves, like the power, you know, the belief, the faith system, that really helps people. And then it draws people into what you're doing, and they're like, how'd you make the situation better? And then we try to make the situation better. And that's what it's about. And it's the same way with paranormal. We want to be able to, because there's teams out there that know how to investigate, but they get called on residential calls, but they don't do anything to truly help that person.
Right.
And our whole order, the order of the archangels, our whole order, we use, and we are willing to not only teach, in the paranormal field, but show them the proper way on, grounding, cleansing, clearing, blessing, things of that nature. And I mean, being able to use that, because I mean, if you choose to do
Uh-oh. We lose him again?
Yep, we lost him again, it looks like.
How the hell did we lose him this close to the end of the show, man? Gee, many crickets.
Maybe there's a storm, or maybe his internet is on the glitch.
Oh, man. This is... Well, welcome to the glories of Memorial Day podcast. Oh, there he is.
Here he's back.
it's almost like it gives a timeout or something. I'm gonna have to go in and check the settings and see if it's like 10-minute thing, 15-minute, because I know one time it did that, and it was like every 5-6 minutes it was switching off, and then I'd have to go back and do it. And Gwen showed me a way to go in there and do it.
The joys of technology, my friend, the joys of technology.
Yep.
You know.
So we're getting to the top of the hour, Jeremy. Why don't you tell everybody how to get a hold of you, how they can reach you, and what you have going on here soon.
Yeah, so you can reach me at Jeremy Cotter on Facebook. I'm always open to anybody who wants to reach out via Messenger, whatnot. I also have I'm on TikTok and I think Instagram, YodaMan1973 for those who follow through Instagram and things of that nature. I have a couple of conventions coming up, like I said earlier. August is going to be, I'm going to be not appearing, but I'm going to be at the Nashua convention in August 1st. And then in September, on the second weekend in September, which I believe is the 11th and 12th and 13th, I'm going to be at the Augusta, Maine Paranormal and Horror Convention, speaking alongside some really great people. I'm not sure exactly what's happening yet or what the topic's going to be, but looking forward to that. And I'm even making an appearance at Mass Paracon in October just to see some people. I know Gwen's going to be there in Lake Triana, so hopefully I'll pop down there too. But basically, overall, man, it's been an amazing experience so far here on the network. Only bigger and better. Like I said, I'm working on processing guests to finish up the summer and head into the fall. And I'll definitely get both of you guys on the show soon, because I know I've been talking to Sean about getting him on soon as well. And we can definitely have some more fun, because he and I had a great conversation the last time I was on his show. And, so, thank you very much, Shane, for bringing me on today. I appreciate it. I know it was last minute. You were trying to find somebody. And I was like, hey, you know what? Shane's a great guy. Let's get him started off the right way. And I can definitely fill in the gaps talking, because I think I have a nonstop voice generator and I got words popping out all over the place. So,
well, I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did, because you and I have always had good, fluent conversations, and I think this one went the same way. I think it was pretty organic. I think it flowed really well, and I really appreciate having you on. You're a great guy. You're a great host for your show. I wish you nothing but the very best, and I want to see you succeed in everything that you do. So with that, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for being who you are, what you represent, how you do things, because we need more people like you, not only in this network, but in the paranormal field and life in general, because of just how you are. And I deeply appreciate that.
Thank you, my man. And it's been an honor to be on with you, and welcome back. I'm glad to see you back. I can't wait to see what you got going on too,
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Memorial Day, everybody.
Yep. Yeah. And you have a good one, and I will talk to you really soon. Okay.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Bye-bye. Well, guys, I mean, you can't. You see how the conversation goes. He's such a knowledgeable person. Not only that, but you guys, check out his podcast. Twisted Tales. I mean, you will not be disappointed. He brings some good guests on, and things of that nature. If you don't have him on your.
Oh, we lost him again. Darn. Well, I know Shane would like to say thank you to everybody that watched the show tonight, and he cut out again. We must be having a little bit of technical glitches tonight. And wait a minute, maybe he'll pop back in here real quick. Here we go.
Yeah, sorry, it popped up again. I don't know what that thing is, but thank you guys for being on here. Thank you guys for commenting, just watching the show. But you guys have a good week. Stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people. Peace.
Great show tonight, Shane, and welcome back, bud.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Have a great Memorial Day weekend, guys.
All right. You too.